Okay, good Tvach, everyone. As we are finishing the 11th parak and starting the 12th parak of Masechtas Kesuvos, we're ready for a sponsor for the next Masechta, as we will be finishing Shas Cotton soon. If you're interested in sponsoring the next Masechta, call me at 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com. We are dedicated by the Fisher family, Lila Nishmas, Basi Bas Robert, Shlomo ben Avram Alevi, Perel Bas Ruvain, and the Neshama should have an Aliyah. We're also dedicated, Lila Nishmas, Matzio Chaim ben Yaakov, for Shalem Fel Yomis Mechai Sarah, for the Schus of Avram and Yom Ben Shpamal Yehudis and family. We learn for the Schus of Yoel Klugman and family, for the Panosa Gesund and Nachas, and we learn from Meir ben Chai Sarah, should have a Refu Shalem B'Sek Sharchei Yisrael. Hamimo Enes, we're up to Mishna Vav in the 11th parak. Hamimo Enes, a girl who was an orphan girl, no father. She was married off rabbinically by her mother or her brother, and then she could leave her marriage with a refusal, just by refusing the marriage. It's called a miyun, without a get. Hashniya, or if somebody married their grandmother, which is an Issa d'Rabbanan, or va'ainless, or somebody married a woman and then found out that she's incapable to have children, so it's a mekach tais. In all these cases, ein lahem ksuva, the woman is not entitled to ksuva. In the case of miyun, the marriage was annulled. In the case of a shniya, we don't grant the ksuva. Ksuva is to protect the woman, that shouldn't be easy to divorce her. But here, we want her to be divorced. And an idleness, since it was a mekach tais, the marriage is annulled, so there's no ksuva. V'lei peiros. What this means is that if the husband ate the usufruct of her nichsei melug, or of her property, now when the marriage is dissolved, he doesn't have to refund the usufruct. In the case of the mian, until then he had the right to use it. In the case of the shniya, we penalize her, and we don't therefore give her the refund. And in the case of an idleness, it's a mekach tais, but at the time he thought that she was able to have children, and therefore he doesn't have to refund her the usufruct. V'loi mezainis. What this means is that in the event that he was out of town and she borrowed money for her support, and now the marriage is annulled because of the mian, he doesn't have to pay for the support, because now the marriage is annulled. In the case where it was an illegal marriage, he doesn't have to pay. And in the case where it's a mekach tais, he doesn't have to pay. And the same thing is v'loi blois. If he had clothing of her nichsei melug, let's say she brought in a man's coat and he wore it out, he doesn't have to refund it. However, but if initially he married her knowing that she wasn't able to have children, so it's not a mekach tais, he knew about it, then yesh la ksuva, then she's entitled to a ksuva. Now, in the following cases, even though it's an illegal marriage, we penalize him and make him give her a ksuva. That's where it's a biblically illegal marriage. Almana l'kain gadol, a widow that married a kain gadol. Grush of a chalutza l'kain hedyot, a divorcee or a chalutza that married a regular kain. Mamzeres u'nesina, a woman that was a mamzeres, or a ger givonis that married Yisrael or Bas Yisrael, the nasan or mamzer. These are all biblically illegal, or at least from the prophets, illegal to be married. Yesh la ksuva. She's entitled to ksuva. So you'll say, why? Here also, the ksuva is in order that it shouldn't be easy for him to divorce her. We want it to be a divorce. We want it to be ended. It's an illegal marriage. The answer is because in this case, where it's biblically prohibited, she becomes disqualified. She becomes a zayna when she has this intimacy, and she becomes usher to marry a kayin. She also disqualifies her children, so therefore we assume he must have convinced her to do this marriage, and therefore we penalize him and we make him give her a ksuva. And now we start the 12th parak. Hanoi says somebody marries a woman and she has a daughter from another marriage. Opaski might kadesh yazin as bita chameshanim, and he contracts that he's going to support his stepdaughter for 5 years. So chayav l'zayna chameshanim. As we'll see, he has to support her even if he divorces her. Nisis la'acher, if she marries somebody else, that means he divorced her. She can't marry two men. So he divorced her, she married somebody else. Opaski might, and she makes up with the second husband, kadesh yazin as bita chameshanim, to support the stepdaughter 5 years. The first husband still has to continue supporting. He still has to live up to his contractual obligation to support her for 5 years. The first one can't say, if she's married to me, I'll support her. No, he never said that it's contingent upon being married to her. He has to bring her for 5 years the food to wherever the mother is living. Now, I might say the two husbands could get together and make an agreement. We both agree to support her for 5 years. I'll give half and you give half. No. They can't do it in cahoots and say, we'll chip in and support her for 5 years. Each one contracted alone to support her for 5 years. One gives her food for 5 years, and the Tais Yamtu says she decides which one she wants to give her the food. And the other one, gives her the value of her support for 5 years. We want to thank you for a beautiful night of learning. Remember, tomorrow night at 8 is shir. Monday night, there will not be a shir, not be a daf. And also, remember that on YouTube, I always put a shir on Truma from past years. So on YouTube, there's a shir that I put tonight from Truma 5782. If you want to get a jump on this week's parsha, I also put a shir on Megillas Esther from 5781 since we started the new year. If you would like to be part of the Power Benching New Publishing, we're going to print very soon, 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com. Thank you for joining us, and have a good Tavach.